Fire away.
Well, obviously, the two ladies showed you contempt for each other, but you had to spend a lot of time around each other as well. I'm curious, through the time that you've had to do on this media tour, if your opinion has changed. Either one, I guess we'll start with Miesha. Has your opinion changed? Have you gained any respect? Has it worsened? I mean, how have things progressed along this time that y'all been kind of forced to be with each other?
I feel the same that I did, before we spent all the time together. We see each other every week or whatever, so it's kind of weird because I haven't ever spent that much time with an opponent. But I mean, it's just a matter of maintaining a professional manner, and you know what I mean. I'll do the talking when March 3rd comes around.
Well, I think it's very difficult to make an accurate assessment of somebody as a person if the entire time that you've known them, there's been a lot of pride and money on the line between the two of you. The entire time that I've known Miesha, that our interests have been at odds with one another, and I don't think there's no way you can make an accurate judgment of a person under circumstances like that. And this hasn't been the least bit personal for me. None of this is an accident. I've been thinking about how I'm going to present myself in this fight from the very beginning, and I can see why she would take offense to a lot of things I've been doing, because for the sake of entertainment, I did say that I would beat the crap out of her and her boyfriend in the same day, which I do believe that. But I could see why she would take offense to that. I thought it was funny and entertaining, and so did a bunch of other people, and that's why I got spread around, and that's why a lot of people are talking about this fight. So I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be entertaining, and I'm sorry if her feelings are getting hurt, but I'm not sorry with the result that has come out of it.
For Scott, for you, this fight, it's the most anticipated female mixed martial arts fight since Gina Cyborg. For Strikeforce, what does it mean for you that you've been able to elevate not just the 145 division, but also 35?
I mean, it just shows a commitment to the female division in Strikeforce. I think that if you look back at the history, in 2006, the first female fight in the state of California was Gina Carano fighting Elena Maxwell in December of 2006. And we've been committed to the female division, and we're going to continue to build it and grow it and build new stars. And I think this is the culmination of that goal.
Now, what about for you guys? Is there any...
Mayday.
That wasn't me.
Somehow this is not like the NFL, where we have upside down trash and embarrassing all over.
What are you gonna do? We're trying.
Is it helpful to turn that infrared?
I don't know. I
Is there a chair in there?
Yeah, have it a chair.
You guys can get a shotgun mic.
That's your media knew a trick that I was unaware of.
Or can we, well, I'll just put 10 lobs on you guys, and then that way.
Does it work? You just do it right there.
That might.
Does that work?
Speak loudly, Miesha.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Or you just slide it in the middle, no?
Well, yeah, we could probably, it'll still be, if we put it in the middle, it won't be in you guys' shot, right? Can you go up a little higher, or?
Yeah. Oh.
How's
Well,
that?
actually,
It's
it's
MacGyver.
Now, wait,
Well,
I know, but yeah, now you just need to, but we can't. How's that?
does that work?
Why can you guys sit at the dais?
Continuing, what does it mean for you, both of you, that this is the most anticipated 135 female fight in the history of the female mixed martial arts?
You want to do first? Me?
Yeah.
Wanna go first? Okay. It's huge. I mean, it's the biggest opportunity that I could, ever dream of. This is really a dream come true. Main event, a Strikeforce card, headlining for the women is going to say a lot. If we're able to deliver, like I believe we will, and draw the numbers and do everything, it's going to prove that what we've been saying along, what Strikeforce has been saying all along, is that the women can definitely hang with the men. We can deliver entertaining fights, and that's what this business is all about. People want to be entertained, and we're definitely going to entertain on March 3rd.
Agreed.
I just think it's kind of hilarious that Miesha said she doesn't like me or anything that I've done, but then she just said that I helped make her dreams come true. So that's a little bit of a contradiction. But I agree with her and most of what she just said. This is something I've been aiming to accomplish for a very long time. And, I don't say, I cannot say that this is all me. I'm trying as hard as I can, but, people like Scott Coker who have, been an advocate for the women's fighters ever since the beginning when, a lot of people weren't. And I really appreciate all the people that have put time and energy into making this fight happen, and we're not going to disappoint anybody in this fight.
Scott, how's it coming along in terms of developing more women? I know you've got another fight on the card there with Sarah Kaufman and
Yes.
Alexis Davis, but how's it going for you in terms of scouting out and getting more women to support their division?
Well, I think that that's something you can talk to Sean about
Yeah.
as well. But I think in my opinion, it's I see some of the emails that have come in, and he's probably getting 20 or 30 emails with fighter profiles and pictures and videos, and there's a lot of females and coaches all over the world writing in to come fight in Strikeforce. So you know, they're going to go through the process of examining what's what and what's real. But, you know, I think that if you look at the female division out there worldwide, there's some good athletes out there, and we're going to definitely give some of those females an opportunity.
And do you think that this fight between these two and their outspokenness and their you know, let's not discount the fact that they're both lovely and that, I mean, you're getting a really two great women in this fight. I mean, do you feel that things picked up, you know, in action in terms of getting those emails once you announced this fight?
Yeah, I think that definitely, and also when, you know, it's just another example when Strikeforce said, okay, look, we're going to have the female as a main event. And like you were saying, not since the Corona Cyborg fight, this is the most anticipated female fight, you know, in the world, as far as I'm concerned, right now. So we're going to put this on, and the females have always delivered for Showtime as far as the television ratings. Miesha's fight with Marlis Kunin actually spiked a little higher than our main event, you know, that night. So it does great numbers for television. We're expecting great things in the cage, great numbers, and you know, it's just the overall company is behind the female division, and so we're getting a lot of new athletes submitting their stuff, and we'll go through them, and some of those fighters will be fighting in Strikeforce probably in 2012 at some point.
For Ronda, the former 135 Strikeforce Women's Champion, Sarah Kaufman, she called it a disgrace, a slap in the face that you're getting this shot over her. But wouldn't you argue, I mean, the interest in this fight alone, and this fight being the main event for Strikeforce, is much better for women's MMA in the long run?
I don't think it's not only just better for women's MMA in the long run, I think it's also better for Sarah Kaufman in the long run. I think that the fight that she would get for the winner between me and Miesha would get a lot more attention, you know, than a fight between her and Miesha right now. And I think she's kind of being a little ungrateful that she's getting a lot more interviews and a lot more interest, you know, towards her opinion, you know, because of all of this drama that was created. And she's gotten more attention now than she did when she was champion, you know. And so I don't think it was a slap in the face. I think it's just something that needed to happen, and I think it's kind of all these girls are saying I've talked my way into a title. It's just a mean way of saying that I was smarter than them and figured out a way to, you know, make as much progress in 6 months as they could in 6 years.
Miesha, would you agree with Ronda in that respect?
You know what I think this boils down to is that this, at the end of the day, is an entertainment business. And this is definitely the fight that the fans want to see the most. And I think that that's the fight that Strikeforce should deliver. You know, it's all about the fans, what they want to see. And, you know, absolutely, I think this is going to get the most attention. You know, I feel for Sarah Kaufman in her situation because, you know, I think on paper she's still the #1 contender. She's done a lot of work to get where she's at. But, marketing standpoint wise, this is the fight that's going to do it. This is the fight that's going to make or break it, and this is a fight that needs to happen.
Scott, with that said, there has been a little bit of, I guess, uprising, so to speak, that Sarah Kaufman's fight was put on the preliminary card, because it does have an impact. You know, it seems like if she wins, she would be next in line. Can you talk maybe about the logic in that? And, you know, I don't know how much of a role you had in that decision-making process, but why her fight is a preliminary card instead of main card?
Well, you know, if you look at the fight card from top to bottom, it's a pretty amazing card, and some of the guys on the undercard are been around for a long time. So to me, you know, it's like it's going to be on Showtime Extreme, and it's going to be live, and it's just the way the ball bounced this time. So there's nothing wrong with it. I think that the undercard is going to be like a main event of its own, and she's going to get great TV time, and the main card is fantastic. So, you know, if you try to juggle this fight card around, I think that you know, I don't think it can be put together any better than the order that we have it right now. So, yeah, I think that I feel good about that.
Ronda, have you been doing anything different in training to get ready for the 135 weight cut?
Yeah, I mean, I have a different diet, but it involves a lot of starving and peeing. I don't eat and I drink a lot. So that's a little different. And actually, the thing, I feel a lot better at 135. I've had arthritis since I was 19 years old. I've had 3 knee surgeries, and cutting down to a lower weight, my joints feel way better. I feel like a different person. I feel way faster, and I feel like this is probably a weight that I'll be more comfortable at than 145, actually, because I wasn't cutting any weight. 145 is my walking weight.
Scott, you know, with Cyborg's positive test, is the 145 division, is that essentially dead, or are there plans to promote that?
Well, you know, we haven't had the conversation here yet on that, but you know, right now the division is going to continue.
Okay.
But you know, we'll evaluate that probably after this fight on March 3rd. But you know, a lot's going to depend on what happens with Cyborg, whether you know the suspension is a full year or 6 months, or when she can come back, and she is, a star in the sport. It's unfortunate what happened, but, now the consequences have to be paid. So we're going to wait to see what the outcome on that is.
And Ronda, you've been pretty outspoken about Chris Cyborg on Twitter and as well as interviews as well, basically because her actions and words towards Gina Carano. Is that a fight that let's say if you do capture the 135 title and Cyborg does return, is that a fight that you pursue to maybe be a two-division champion?
From the very beginning, I've wanted, I've known that fighting Chris Cyborg and beating her is the main end goal. In light of her testing positive for steroids, I think it might be a little more fair to kind of try and get her to fight at 135, because when she's off the steroids, it would be easier for her to cut down to the weight. And if she decides to do some other steroid that's hard to be tested for, then the weight cut would make doping just as much of a detriment as it would be a help to her. So in light of her testing positive, I'd probably insist on fighting her at a lighter weight.
And Miesha, what's your take on steroids in female mixed martial arts?
Well, it's unfortunate, the whole situation. It's the men have been caught for it, and I suppose, at some point there's bound to be a woman who's going to be caught for it too. I mean, it happens, but I'm really happy to see that Strikeforce is taking some different measures. I've heard about the possibility that you guys are going to begin testing athletes before, correct? So they're going to begin testing athletes before the matches, so that way they don't find out after the fact, and definitely happy to hear about that. So they're doing what they can to ensure that doesn't happen. And when Cyborg does make her return, if she wants to get some real competition and come down to 135, I also would agree with Ronda that it would probably make it easier for her to make that weight, and we'll just have to see what happens when she makes her return.
Scott, to follow up on what you just said, before, I think the press release was prior to signing with the Zuffa-related company, or before boats?
Before they, I think, my understanding is that before they actually get signed to a contract, they'll have to submit a test for steroids to be tested and have to be clean before they're actually signed to the agreement.
Is that a bout contract, or is that like an actual four-fight deal?
Yeah, I think it's before the four-fight deal.
Okay.
So, those who say this fight is more important, not only for women's MMA, but for Strikeforce and Carano and Cyborg?
Well, here's the thing: is that the Carano Cyborg was one of the biggest fights in the history of our company, and I think this fight ratings-wise could be right up there or greater than, and I think that when you talk about what's relevant today, this is the fight, and for all the fans or reporters or the fighters, especially from Sarah, Sarah's position about this fight, she doesn't deserve to fight. I totally disagree. I mean, this to me, Ronda has proven herself to be worthy of this title shot, and that's why we gave it to her.
Dana has been saying that he wants to get control of Strikeforce and have his own vision, and once he does, it'll be better for everyone. There seems to be a disconnect there, maybe between Showtime and his vision. Where do you stand? Not trying to get you in trouble.
Well, you know what? It's to me that's a conversation that I think is happening between Dana and Showtime, and so let's just leave it at that. And you know how to get a hold of Dana, so give him a call.
I have a question for each of the ladies. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about examples of discrimination or people almost looking down on you that you've had to overcome in your years in MMA.
That was for both of us?
Yeah,
Sorry?
yeah.
Oh, it's been an interesting ride, that's for sure. Being a woman in the sport, is a little different than the men in that I feel a lot of times we have to work a little bit harder to get that acceptance. But I do find that, with the proper work ethic and, not complaining or being, girly inside the practice room, that it definitely garners respect. I've never really had any issue in getting any male athletes to have respect for me. I always work hard and I don't complain and show up and I do just as the boys do. So, it's just a matter of breaking barriers, changing minds, opening people's minds to the fact that women can do just the same as the men do. Biologically, obviously, we're a little different, but we can be just as technical, we can work just as hard, and we deliver amazing fights. So what more can you ask for?
For Miesha and Ronda. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I agree with her on a lot of that. It's harder when you're a girl because you can't just walk into a new gym and have people respect you just from your record or your history. And you kind of have to prove yourself to each new group of people at a time. You know, you don't have any success that carries over in the way that the men do. So, you know, when I first started MMA, the first gym that I went to, no one would pay attention to me or help me at all. And, you know, they asked me to pay too much that I couldn't afford. So I went to a different gym, and the GFC where I am now, and the coach wouldn't spend any time on me, and I just put in my head that I was going to force these people to respect me. And so I came in there earlier than any of the guys did, and I left after all the guys were done. I made sure that I was training before them and I was training after them. And this went on for 2 months before my coach actually did any kind of mitt work with me. And, you know, you have to do twice as much work to get an equal amount of respect, and I'm willing to put that work in because, you know, unfortunately at this time it's necessary.